Welcome back to your regularly scheduled FNM Modern Friday at GameSwap in Mason, Ohio. I am back Mark and I are back from our 1 week hiatus. I'm Mario Krabari, as always, here with Mark Anliker.
Hey, everybody.
And for round one this week, we have a SCG IQ favorite, Michael Belfatto, on his green-black value deck that we saw a few weeks ago against Matthew Shaw on blue-white control. So Michael's deck is kind of a green-black loam deck. It's pretty cool. It gets a lot of value out of different lands it has, including the new cycling lands from Amonkhet, which it uses basically to loam back and draw an extra card every turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't even have the correct colors yet. You know, he's waiting for the black-green one, but he's using Sheltered Thicket and Canyon Slough,
Right.
the black-red and the green-red, because they don't have the right one.
There's currently no green-black cycling land.
And so you can tell that's how highly he values them, because in his deck, those are literally just tapped. Those are just tapped green and black
Tapped
sources.
forests, yeah.
Tapped forest, tapped swamp, because he has no red spells in the deck. I don't even think he has engineered explosives to get value out of that.
Yeah, I don't think so. So turn one, Belf took the Spreading Seas out of Matthew's hand with his Inquisition. Matthew led on a Serum Visions.
So my guess is that Matthew here is totally unprepared to deal with Raven's Crime or to deal with Worm Harvest.
Most modern decks are not prepared to deal with those.
Unless Matthew has, like, I don't know, God, what could blue-white control even have? Would you even have, like, has anyone ever run a mainboard relic in blue-white control? Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Who knows?
It could be good. Here's
Could be
another
fine.
Serum Visions from Matthew after another Inquisition from Belf. And we do see he played as his Canyon Slow tap.
The Canyon hey, it's a tap swamp.
Yeah.
That seems fine. It's just like a Bazooka Bog with no upside.
Sure. Hat Crab Zombie, hello. Thanks for joining us in the chat.
So,
Deciding on these scries here. His hand is Path and
looks like a
two
lot of
counter
lands.
spells. Yeah, 3 lands, Path. So he's thinking about Colony and Ancestral. Keeps both of them.
Huh.
All right. Gonna draw Ancestral next turn.
Yeah, I mean, Ancestral seems fine. You know, in the green black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
In this
definitely a
matchup,
good
it
card
seems
here.
pretty good.
But didn't we see Bernie Wen? Bernie Wen lost to Michael Belfatto at the IQ here,
Yes.
despite
after
resolving maybe one or
3?
even 2 Ancestral
maybe it was
Vision,
2, yeah.
So go if it's a 4/5. Do you think we see this get Path here? I think we do.
No.
Oh no.
Gonna wait a little bit.
Maybe he doesn't want to ramp his opponent into like a Thragtusk on turn 4.
Sure.
I don't know.
All right, here's Ancestral.
That seems fine. Maybe we'll see him path it during Michael's upkeep here.
Yeah, that would make sense. No, looks like you want to draw. I guess you can do it at end step.
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't
you
really-
can do it whenever, I guess. Just taking the damage. Maybe he's got a Verdict, or maybe he knows his life total's a resource here and can just wait on the Verdict. You know, to see if he finds one.
I wonder what he's holding the Path for, what he thinks might be a more important threat. I guess like a Dark Confidant.
Yeah, maybe Scoos is. Maybe you're worried about, you know, getting value out of your Snapcasters later, but
Sure.
he's got a Ghost Quarter. Not helpful right now, but could be good later. Cryptic Command is going to help him, you know, tap some guys and draw some cards.
As Cryptic is wont to do. All right, looks like he's thinking about the Path, decides against it, and we're going to his 4th turn. This is when he drew the Colony that he left on top earlier.
Oh, so he's got Snapcaster Path.
Right. But he's got to get the Scoos off the table probably before he goes for that.
I don't know what exactly he's, well, yeah, I suppose you pass turn, you get your Hallowed Fountain tapped,
Sure.
and then you just go Path, Snap, Path.
Yeah.
That seems fine. You are going to ramp Mike pretty seriously, but I don't think that matters too much.
You could respond to this Scoos trigger. But I guess we don't have enough mana to pass in that path yet. So we'll see what Michael Belfatto, I think he just drew a Liliana the Veil. And this is actually, I think, a safe time for him to resolve that. I'm not sure if Heath feels it's a safe time, but before Matthew has Cryptic Command up, that would be a good time to try and get Lily of the Veil in play. So now we're attacking with our Goyf and the Scavenging Goose. I think if you're gonna path one of these things eventually, might as well.
And you have to path the Scoos first, so that he can't eat the path.
Yeah.
I feel like we've just taken some unnecessary damage from Goyf. Like, I get the idea that you can use your life as a resource here, and if you draw into a verdict, then you can just verdict and still have your path.
Yeah.
But I think your life total is relevant here.
So he's going to eat the Serum Visions out of Matthew's graveyard there.
Yeah,
before
sure, seems fine. I imagine Matthew has Logic Knot or something.
Yeah. Or if he ever needs to snap Serum Visions.
Yeah. So Matthew goes to 12.
Yeah, the Goyf did grow, yeah, from that interaction.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so taking even more unnecessary. I just don't get it. Whatever. Wonder if Matthew's got Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, he might.
That's one of my favorite cards. It's not very good, honestly. Like it most of the time it's just kind of in your hand, and unless
yeah,
you cast it,
you don't get a chance to.
You got to cast it for like 6 to really be any good.
Sure. So in Matthew's hand he's got Cryptic, Snap, and another land. Looks like, and we'll have this Ancestral coming down in a few turns. So so Belf is doing something in his second main phase here, I think. Second Tarmogoyf. Alright, so now Matthew's hoping to find out a Detention Sphere if he has those.
Sure, yeah, that'd be huge. I doubt we have the Ruined Halo in the main board, but probably somewhere in the 75.
Yeah.
So we see the Verdict, we see another Verdict, a Crucible of Worlds in the main board. There's the Detention Sphere.
Yeah.
Spell Snare. Spell Snare would have been good for these Goyfs.
Yeah, or the Scoos.
See, here's the problem here. I mean, at this point, you can path this, one of these Goyfs next turn if you don't draw an answer, but then your only answer left in hand is a Cryptic Command, which is only going to stall here. You could very easily end up dead to these Goyfs if you draw poorly, whereas that would have been much less likely to happen if you pathed earlier.
Right, Matthew really needs a Verdict or a
Verdict would be sweet.
Detention Sphere here.
Yeah, Cryptic is not the best way to fight Goyfs that are already on the board.
It does buy him some time, though, to find one of his other answers.
Sure.
Or drew into a Serum Visions, okay. This might help him find...
So, if he doesn't find a land here, though, he can't cast Cryptic, because his only other land is a Ghost Quarter. He could only cast Cryptic by Ghost Quartering himself here to filter mana, and that seems terrible.
What is...
That is a...
Cryptic. It's a Cryptic.
Oh, it's a Cryptic, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Invocation Cryptic Command.
I was thinking it was a Spell Pierce, but I'm kind of annoyed that all of the Invocation blue spells...
Are Kefnet doing something?
Yeah, they all look the exact same, just Kefnet B, and Kefnet.
He drew into a Negate.
That's not helpful.
Yeah. Well, I guess this turn he can Snap Path and Chump Block. If he wants to.
Yeah, and he can also Ghost Quarter himself for Cryptic.
If he needs to, yeah. Looks like Belf drew a Courser there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So this is another part of his value engine. Courser Crucifix lets him gain life every time he plays an additional one of his lands, and basically lets him churn through most of the lands in his deck once he gets Loam online, and it makes him basically then just draw reactive or action spells from that point forward. So here's Courser, probably going to resolve, can't negate that one. And we see a Raven's Crime on top.
Yeah, so I think what you do in the face of this Raven's Crime is you go ahead and path after you've seen the reveal. You don't want him to have that Raven's Crime.
He's just... Is he just taking the damage?
That puts him to 1, right?
No, 3. The Goyfs are 4 5s.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. He didn't see it. He put both cards on bottom, right?
I think he put both on top. I think he kept Cryptic Command land.
Is he just hoping to Cryptic tap draw?
Maybe.
I'm just worried here, Cryptic tap draw loses to a man land here, right? I mean, I guess Belf's only man land has 2 power, but
is this an end step? No, this has got to be before blocks, right?
The thing is, the reason
this was before blocks, I think.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, so
that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
I saw him starting to write something on his life total, and I thought that he had already discussed the damage, but...
Well, that's good, yeah. The only reason that you ever path after damage like that as a control deck is if you're worried about countering their next spell.
If you need to leave up mana to do something else, sure.
Belf only had 2 lands. What 2 mana card is he going to play besides another Tarmogoyf?
Another Tarmogoyf, right?
And all you have is a negate anyway. Yeah. This negate seems bad. It's not even... I think it's fine, kind of, in this match. Actually, it's terrible in this matchup. It's
Well,
terrible
it's
against
Lily.
Raven's Crime. Well, sure, but it's terrible
That's
against
about it.
Raven's Crime, terrible against Worm Harvest, terrible against Life from the Loam, terrible against Abrupt Decay.
Yeah. All right, so the Snapcaster is going to get Fatal Push there before it's able to block this Tarmogoyf. So Matthew does take 4 for the turn. And then because Belf shuffled his deck there, he found another land on top to play with Courser.
Oh, easy money.
Some good value there.
Wait, has he not hit a
Living the
land
name.
drop this turn?
No, that turn he got a land from Path, and then he played land off the top.
So you're saying Belf just chose not to play that swamp?
No, he just found that. He played the Treetop Village.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So he's going to draw the swamp. Okay.
Yeah. So we are on the Cryptic draw plan.
Yeah.
We'll see how far this gets us.
Sometimes it works out for people, and sometimes you just sort of spin your wheels and fizzle.
So both going straight to combat. Matthew does have an action before attackers are declared.
Yeah, the problem is now Mike can,
All right.
resolve another creature.
Or he can animate a Treetop Village.
Yeah.
And he's
gonna have to Ghost Quarter
He's
it.
not at 3 right now. He's at 7.
So Matthew's forced to Ghost Quarter the Treetop Village, which means that he can no longer hold up Negate, which means Mike could drop like a Liliana or something here.
Yeah, Lily of the Veil, which I think he's had Lily of the Veil in hand for quite a while here. We do get the Ancestral Visions coming off suspend next turn, but having to deal with the Planeswalker as well might be difficult.
So
for
if
Matthew.
Matthew's actually at 7, and Ghost Quartering there takes you off Negate, I wonder if it's just right to take that Treetop Village to the face to hold up Negate. Because Liliana's the card that really fucks you here.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess Belf doesn't have it.
No, he must not. I'm just gonna pass the turn. All right, so there's our Ancestral Visions came off and found double Supreme Verdict.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. So we're probably gonna lead with that, although. Yeah. So I think his hand now is double Supreme Verdict, Spell Snare, Cryptic, and still that Negate.
Yeah, so just in the nick of time on this this Ancestral. Spell Snare is pretty good. He can counter a Goy for his Skoos.
Right.
Well, that's
Cannot counter that, unfortunately.
so you can't take the Cryptic. I feel like you take the Spell Snare, but you could take the Path for the Negate too. I guess
Oh, I guess he.
Spell Snare only does the work.
I could have sworn he drew 2 verdicts, but yeah, he must have drawn a Path as well.
Well, so Spell Snare only in this matchup only relevantly counters creatures, so I don't think that's better than. So I think you take the Path.
Yeah.
Unless you want to draw a Planeswalker. I don't know.
He's gonna take
the
Spell
Spell
Snare.
Snare. That's all right.
I guess they get you an extra land if he wants to Path your creature.
Yeah,
then.
and I guess Spell Snare. Well, I don't know.
So Michael really needs to get develop another threat here. Letting the control deck continue to draw and develop its own resources, obviously not where.
Matthew has a Detention Sphere.
Oof, yeah, so even that now can take care of.
That's pretty good against Worm
Planeswalker.
Harvest.
Yeah, that timely Supreme Verdict may turn the corner here for Matt. I'm guessing Belf's hand is a bunch of removal spells or something, or Abrupt Decays that he doesn't currently have targets for, and may not have targets for quite a while.
Is that a Tasker or a Collective Brutality?
It might have been a Murderous Cut. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's funny how Murderous Cut and Tasker
yeah.
look the exact same.
They're very hard to distinguish from this viewpoint. There's another Ghost Quarter, so that can take care of Belf's next manland, which he did just draw in Hissing Quagmire. But now Matthew's up to quite a few cards in hand, and yeah, he can just play the draw-go game here for quite a while. I think what Belf really needs maybe is a Raven's Crime to start eating away at Matthew's hand if he is like holding extra lands in hand, which I think he might be doing. It looks like both players are actually holding lands in hand, so Matthew aptly playing around a potential, I don't know, Raven's Crime loop, and Belf, of course, keeping his lands in hand so that he has extra to discard to retrace Raven's Crime. So Matthew's just going to pass the turn again. And here is the Raven's Crime. All right, so this might get quite a few cards out of Matthew's hand, depending on how many lands Belf has in play, or in his hand, I mean. So there's the second use. hit a Misty on the first go, and we'll see what Matthew wants to discard now.
This is brutal.
I don't think Belf has too many more lands in his hand, so it won't be terrible. But now every land he draws becomes making Matthew discard a card, and if he gets a life from the loam online, that could get quite a few lands back.
So interestingly, Matthew doesn't have many ways to win the game besides Colonnade, and Mike can obviously Ghost Quarter every single Colonnade.
Yeah.
Now Matthew does have Crucible of Worlds, but Belfatto can Abrupticate that Crucible, you know,
right,
uncounterably.
All right, so Matthew Cryptic did the Retrace Raven's Crime, and now Belf has another discard spell in hand, the Thoughtseize here, which is going to resolve. Yeah, all right. So Matt's hand is Cryptic, Double Verdict, Detention Sphere, Negate, and Path. I think you probably take Cryptic here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think at this point you're just gonna try to shred his hand and Cryptic is the only really two for. Oh, that's
yeah, sure. Resolves Baloth. It can get Pathed or it can get Detention Sphere. Although Detention Sphere is actually pretty bad against Baloth, as if the Detention Sphere is broken, I don't know why I said that, destroyed. Of course, we'll get another trigger from Baloth, but instead Matt's just gonna path it.
Detention Sphere is good in this matchup for things like Worm Harvest, but it's bad against Abrupt Decay. But
Yeah.
I wonder if Mike leaves in any Abrupt Decays game 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's not bad against Ruined Halo and Detention Sphere, so I don't know.
Kill Snapcaster.
That's a big deal. It does kill those Snapcat. Kills Vendilion Click. That's
true. Does not kill Gideon Jura, assuming Matthew has that, or Elspeth, Sun's Champion.
No. Does 3-drop Gideon become indestructible?
Yes.
They all become indestructible, don't they?
Yes, but of course you can always kill them, the 3-drop Gideon, before it turns into a creature.
Oh sure, yeah, it is a 3-drop permanent.
Delve Dig. He has one Worm Harvest in his sideboard that he uses in mid-range matchups, or I'm guessing against control matchups, because it's basically unbeatable unless you can exile it somehow. It's pretty wild, and he has a good land value engine, so he's able to recast it many times. All right, here's another Baloth. Gonna resolve, gain Michael some life.
Yeah, he also uses life from the loam pretty effectively to dredge for it. So even though he just has one, you know, if he dredges a few times, he's got a pretty good chance with dredge 3 to actually just put that Worm Harvest in the graveyard.
So we are animating Quagmire and getting in there. All right, we'll see if Matt wants to sacrifice one of his Colonnades, or if he has another removal spell, or that, of course, didn't see that another Colonnade. So now goes another manland, and it looks like Belf is out of basics here to search for, which isn't great. If Matthew can get a Crucible of Worlds online, and Belf doesn't have an Abrupt Decay, he could just start getting rid of all of his lands.
But it's only a matter of time till Mike draws an Abrupt Decay, right?
Sure.
I mean, like,
or a life from the loam, even. I mean,
yeah,
I can get back some of his lands. These Supreme Verdicts probably just going to end up being 1-for-1s here for Matthew. After that first one was very good in getting a 2-for-1 and stabilizing the board. The next two don't look quite as good. Yeah, I wonder if Belf's just on like the run Matthew out of options plan. I mean, that is possible. Like, if you take care of the Colonnades and the Crucible, I'm guessing Matt probably has an Elspeth or a Gideon Jura, but I don't know.
He could, yeah, but sometimes those are relegated to the sideboard, so you never know.
Yeah, all right, so down goes Baloth to the Supreme Verdict. And it looks like Belf drew another Thoughtseize. He has not yet drawn another land to rechase the Raven's Crime with.
Do you think we see the negate here?
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
we do see the negate. He's not pathing
like,
nothing.
what are you path the Thoughtseize? That's a new one. We ought to put that on the top deck shirts.
Path your Thoughtseize? What?
Yeah, you know, you lose 2 life, you get a land.
And here's Lily the Veil. Oof.
Oh baby.
That was quite the bait there with that Thoughtseize.
Yeah. Of course, there was no real way around it, because Mike would have just taken the negate, I guess.
Sure. This is gonna get probably Detention Sphered on Matthew's next turn.
But so I assume, so if we see the Detention Sphere come down on Liliana, Well, he could swing with Colonnade.
Right, that's what I was thinking as well. Although that is probably more risky than Detention Sphere because it's likely Belf has another removal spell in his hand. He's been holding cards for quite a while, and we know those cards aren't land since he hasn't retraced Raven's Crime.
Yeah, you think it's like a Murderous Cut? Because Abrupt Decay won't beat the Colonnade, but
Fatal
Murderous
Push.
Cut definitely would.
It could be Fatal Push as well.
Oh, sure. Fatal Push will kill the Colonnade. Yeah.
I think it is a Murderous Murderous Cut, actually, though.
Yeah, well, he's liable to get blown out if he activates here.
Right.
He's in a tough spot. Yeah, I think he's just Detention Sphere. The problem is Detention Sphere just loses to Abrupt Decay later.
Right. And he's going for the Colonnade plane.
All right.
Yeah, so there goes Murderous Cut. Just for 1 mana, going to exile some irrelevant cards out of Belf's graveyard. Looks like he took Damnation there and some lands.
Now, does he even... I mean, can he just tap his mana? Belf has no more cards in hand, right? Can he just tap actual lands here?
Yeah, that's probably better. I mean, he wants the lands in his graveyard for loam, potentially, and he wants card types for
Goyf.
Goyf. I mean, that might not be super relevant given there's so many cards in graveyards.
It's probably not relevant, but I don't see why you don't just tap the mana here.
Well, he drew the Abrupt Decay anyway.
Oh, baby.
So, Matthew in the lose-lose situation there. We'll see what... Oh, I guess Belf is opting to discard it to Lily. I guess Lily doesn't get much better than ultimating in the control matchup, as you're not going to make Matthew sacrifice any relevant creature, really.
But shredding his hand forever is not bad, too.
Sure. But this does mean that the... Alright. I guess that's safer, too. Although, this... He's thinking about animating Colonnade there again. Obviously, it's not going to get killed since Belf has no cards in hand, but it doesn't actually kill Lily at this point since she has gone up to 5 loyalty. So we'll see if he sticks with that or maybe goes for a Detention Sphere. Given that Belf just discarded Abrupt Decay, I mean, it's less likely that he instantly finds another one, but now we know that he has the potential to find another one. Maybe he's more weary of Detention Sphere.
Look at Michael Belfatto's lands.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody in chat commented about that. They're all over the place. We're doing circles.
Is that a Gurmag Angler?
No, it's a Tarmogoyf.
Oh, okay.
So this is the 3rd Tarmogoyf. I mean, Matt kept an island in hand. Might as well just discard that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that seems fine.
Not yet going to path Tarmogoyf. I guess at this point you probably can save path for like a
Kalidas or something.
Or Kalidas, yeah. Tasigur is probably most relevant since at this point it can activate a few times and get Belf some extra value. Well, this has been a rather long game 1. I wonder if there's any concerns about time for the players.
Yeah, that's how blue-white control works. At this point, I mean, how long has it been? I think it's been like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, probably about that long. So Matt is going to fetch down to 6. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how Belf ends up winning this game, and it seems difficult, but at the same time, I'm thinking of how Matt wins this game, and it seems slightly less difficult.
Matt doesn't have many ways to win the game, and that's always been the problem with blue-white control, is that it's really dirtily.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that in flying form here.
So there goes Lily, and here's Detention Sphere on Tarmogoyf. So he does save the path. Kalidas off the top, all right.
Oh, baby. But we got a Supreme Verdict, right?
And we have a path as well. There's Visions. That could help. See if we can find another win condition, or if we're just going to ride the back of this Colonnade to victory. Oh, there's a timely reinforcements.
Well, that'll win the game eventually.
Sure.
But why do you say Matthew? Matthew doesn't have a path.
He does.
I think his hand is just...
Did he discard it or something? I could have sworn he's been holding a path for quite a while.
Pretty sure his hand is just...
He discarded the path to Lily. Okay,
yeah,
I missed that.
I think his hand is just Supreme Verdict and whatever he just drew.
Okay.
Oh, I think it's Supreme Verdict Ghost Quarter.
Yeah, I think he drew a Ghost Quarter. We are reading the Trader of Get. It's a standard all-star. Every time I've played against Kalidas, I think I've lost in standard. One of my least favorite cards currently in the format, but soon to rotate out, so I'm happy about that.
Card is pretty sweet.
It's a 3/4 lifelink for 4. Vampire. Whenever an opponent's non-token creature dies, you make a 2/2 zombie, and then you can sacrifice any zombie or vampire to Kalidas for 3 mana and put 2+1/+1 counters on Kalidas. So it's a weird form of graveyard hate, but more importantly, it just develops a board if you're able to remove your opponent's things.
Cletus into Tasker, pretty good.
Yeah, those are some good top decks.
Yeah, I remember, speaking of Cletus, you remember when it first came out and people started playing it in Jund and stuff, and then Slaughter Pact spiked in price because you could play the Cletus and then immediately get a zombie by Slaughter Pacting.
Sure.
But then that became a not-so-good plan once Death Shadow took over the format.
Right.
Slaughter Pact is not good in the Death Shadow format.
Yeah, I agree. I think the control player should actually probably be concerned about time, like from his play style.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, he has one colonnade left, but he has to do 24 life with it. I wonder if. I mean, I don't think you can afford to concede though, because then you're not going to win the match, right? I mean, he'd have to win 2 games afterwards.
So it looks like. Yeah, so Detention Sphere is going to hit Tasigur here, but Belf was able to activate Tasigur just once in response. Gonna let him get something back. You can't give him Abrupt Decay. You probably just give him a discard spell. Or I guess Murderous Cut, really?
Huh. Maybe Belf just wants to try to draw the maybe Belf knows that if he kills every colonnade and then Abrupt Decays the Crucible, that his opponent can't win.
Well, exactly. So that's why I'm curious why Matthew would have gave the Murderous Cut back to Belf there instead of like a.
Oh yeah,
oh my gosh.
Maelstrom. I was just about to say that. I was gonna say I hope he gets a Maelstrom Pulse for the spheres.
Yeah,
because that would be sweet.
Is rather good. Gets his
that actually makes me really mad. I was actually about to say that before we got distracted. All right, well, Timely seems okay here, but not great.
Yeah, it does gain him life and give him some soldiers to block. Relevantly, the soldiers being tokens will not trigger Kalidas if the soldiers die, because it's only non-token creatures. Yeah, that was kind of an inevitability, though. I mean, I didn't think that I forgot that Maelstrom Pulse was a card that Belf has, but we knew that as many green-black decks, of course, are going to play one. Not always main board, but thankfully for him here, did have it. So our Tomagoyf is very large. He's 6'7". Yeah, and now Belf might be able to get his value engine refueled here, ready to roll with Tasigur.
Yeah, it just goes to show you from Matthew's end, what did that Ancestral Visions get you?
Yeah,
this black-green value, that might be good against Jund or Abzan, but this green-black value, they'll get you.
Well, so I guess at this point, Matt's best draw is probably a Snapcaster, so he can get back a Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, but that's not going to win him the game.
Well, right, that won't win him the game, but it'll stop this.
If he goes Snapcaster into Verdict and then is able to find another Snapcaster to get Timely back,
yeah,
that's not terrible. But you will only get Timely back if you have fewer creatures, so that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, he drew another Colonnade. Yikes! This is now Belf's gonna be able to activate Caster twice a turn.
Jeez.
I think Belf pulled his way back into this one with that Maelstrom Pulse. Wow.
What do you even give him here?
And that's really an example of playing to your outs there. I think if I were Belf playing against this control deck, I mean, obviously I'm not as familiar with this deck as he is, but I may have just conceded it with regards to time at this point. When he's like when both the Detention Spheres down. But I guess if you have Maelstrom Pulses and out, there's not really ever a reason to. So giving Tasigur and Life from the Loam back to Belf there. We're only going to be able to chump block for so long. And if Colonnade dies, that will make a zombie for Kalidas.
Yeah.
Here's Loam getting some lands back. I'm guessing he's going to get a Cycling Lands. Yeah, there's the Shelter Thicket. A Tech Edge and...
Oh, Tech Edge, brutal.
The Treetop Village, sure. So 3 relevant lands there. Creature land, Land Destruction, and
draw a
Cycling.
card.
Yeah. Very good incidents of that. In there for 10. And now, I mean, Matt can't even animate his Colonnade. It's just going to die to Tech Edge, which gives him... Oh, Kalidas is dead. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's Tasker, not Kalidas. Yeah,
so
yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Great image. All right, and...
Yeah, can't be Life from the Loam. So what Matthew needs here, it's kind of awkward to think about, but I think it's the right call. There's a possibility Matthew has Rest in Peace, but I think it's more likely that he has Surgical Extraction.
Right.
And whereas you usually don't want to put yourself at a card disadvantage by using Surgical in a matchup like this, given the way that Belf is playing, you definitely want it here.
Yeah.
You want to be able to surgical loam if you can, I think.
Right. All of his value engines are by reutilizing cards from his graveyard, so just exiling the critical ones could be pretty good for Matthew.
And I assume... go ahead.
Rest in Peace wouldn't be terrible. I mean,
it shuts off your Snapcasters,
right,
which is one of your best cards, but I think it's fine here.
Sure.
Belfatto could have Thrown the Last Troll, but I doubt it. If he does, that would make Matthew want Wrath of God. I wonder if Matthew has a Wrath of God or brings one in. That's the only reason to play one in these decks.
Right.
I mean, Belf...
Do you bring in more... I wonder... I don't know if Matt has this. I think Spell Quellers could be pretty good here.
I don't know. Do you think Belf is taken out?
Right.
The thing is, he wants all his Fatal Pushes just for Colonnade, right?
You think he leaves... I think he would leave in more... Well, I guess.
I think you take out the Murderous Cut,
yeah.
but you leave in some number of Abrupt Decay for the Detention Spheres and the possible Ruined Halo, and
sure.
maybe the possible Rest in Peace.
Yeah, you probably... I mean, you definitely leave in Abrupt Decay. I would maybe... I mean, I don't know if Fatal Push is the best answer to the...
Thanks to Wygorin
for following. Yes, thank you. What was I going to say? Oh, I don't know if... you want to leave the Fatal Push in just for Colony? I mean,
well, I think you leave in like one or two.
You can
right?
Ghost Quarter it and Tech Edge it.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna loam Ghost Quarter for days, that's fine. Yeah, I can. You're right.
I'm sure the Worm Harvest is coming in.
Oh yeah. Oh baby, we're gonna see a Worm Harvest for sure.
Hi Vend. I don't know if it's Vens or Vend SS, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching. Yeah,
blue-white control, just incredibly derpy.
Yeah, well, that's why I was going to say for the Spell Queller. So you do need to trigger Revolt to Fatal Push them. They can pressure Liliana, and they just help you win the game, which, as we saw, looks like Matthew might need some faster ways or some more resilient ways to win the game.
Notably, however, Spell Queller cannot exile a Worm Harvest.
No, it cannot.
Worm Harvest is a 5-drop, for those of you who don't know.
All right, it is Vend SS. Good to know.
I wonder if Belf does something like a Pithing Needle, just for
Colonnade, I guess.
Just for Colonnade, but I think you're right. I think the Ghost Quarter plane is just fine. But does Belfatto actually have? He's not on like 4 Ghost Quarters. He's on like 2, right?
I don't know. He has Tech Edge as well, so
that's right.
I'm not sure how many Ghost Quarters he has.
We saw his list the other day when he was playing in the IQ, and I thought I saw a lower number of Ghost Quarters than I expected. But, of course, when you're loaming, it doesn't really matter that much.
Right.
But you're right. I think it was like 1 Ghost Quarter, 2 Tech Edge or something.
Okay. Tech Edge a cleaner answer, and Ghost Quarter doesn't let your opponent get another land.
Sure. No, we do know that Mike can also deny his opponent a land with Ghost Quarter when he uses his Shadow of Doubts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wonder if we see those.
Michael Belfatto has 3 Shadow of Doubts in his 75. I think it's 1 in the main, 2 in the side, at least last time we checked.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Who'd have thought? I don't think you want it in this matchup, though. I mean, your opponent only has
definitely don't need the extra ones, because your opponent's not searching their deck for anything other than lands.
And Matthew probably only has like 6 or 7 fetch lands, right?
Sure.
He's got certainly 4 Flooded Strand, and I know we saw Misty Rainforest that game.
Yeah.
But I bet there's only 6 or 7.
Yeah, probably. Modern needs Jace the Mind Sculptor.
No, it doesn't. Who said that?
Nefariax in our chat.
I disagree. Jace Architect of Thought is solid. He's a fine.
That's all we need in the way of Jaces.
That's all we need. Shuts down Lingering Souls, casts Factor Fishkin, kind of. Sometimes casts a Praetor's Grasp. I mean,
Praetor's Grasp. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess that's what it is.
Dude, blue-green doubling season. I want to see that deck come back. That deck is sweet.
Super Friends doubling season. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Every day there's new Planeswalkers that are better and better with doubling season. I mean, the new Tameo is sweet with doubling season.
That is definitely true.
Put it out, immediately cast Omniscience and Ancestral Recall. Seems pretty sweet.
So it looks like Matthew's taking a mulligan to 6 here.
That's bad news, Bears.
Yeah,
that's really
definitely
bad.
Do not want to be doing that as the control deck.
The mull to 6 here means that 1 hand disruption spell from Mike
could just ruin his whole hand. Yeah.
So Crucible, Ghost Quarters, Serum Visions, Cryptic Command,
2 lands.
Prairie. That's the scry, or that's the cycle land, right? Irrigated farmland.
Yeah, and a Colonnade, I think.
Yeah, I don't like. Oh man, this is.
I think you keep this, but yeah, like you said, a discard spell could really interrupt a hand like this.
When he can't even turn one that Serum Visions because he's got 2 tap lands.
Right. Well, luckily, Matthew
Okay.
did draw a turn 1 discard as Belf going with his own manland
Yeah,
and his
tap land from Mike is probably what Matthew wanted to see. I think you put both those on bottom, right? Maybe leave the plains on top.
Yeah, you probably want the plains.
Plains on top, colonnade on bottom. That's what I would do. Oh, thank you, Ruvez1992
For the
following.
Yep.
I assume that means you were born in 1992, but if not, please feel free to share with us why that's your year of choice.
Was it a good year? You weren't alive. Neither of us were alive during 1992, so we can't tell you if it was a good year or a bad year.
No, I believe that's the year though that the movie Fight Club came out, right?
I have no idea.
No. Maybe that's more of a 93 film.
Well, here's Crucible.
Okay, Crucible is fine right here, except we don't have any fetch lands.
And Crucible does not block Tarmogoyf very effectively, fortunately.
We also missed the opportunity to get the cycle irrigated farmland Crucible.
That's
play
true.
irrigated farmland value train.
Yeah.
These decks are really doing the same thing.
In a weird way, although Michael has much better threats.
Thank you, M Fares 36 for following.
So the Ghost Quarter that Belf drew doesn't look great in the face of Crucible Worlds. That's for sure.
No. No.
Interestingly, so Matthew drew his own Ghost Quarter. I wonder if he would just Ghost Quarter this Quagmire here to keep him off a color, potentially? Or make him do some awkward Ghost Quartering of his own lands?
Yeah. So if you Ghost Quarter,
I guess he drew Verdant now. But prior to that, it might have been a tempting play.
yeah, so interestingly, Matthew does not have Cryptic mana still.
Yeah, he can't even Ghost Quarter himself yet. Well, I guess there's less, it feels less bad to Ghost Quarter yourself when you do have Crucible in play.
he could Ghost Quarter himself for Cryptic if he wants, but
Right, yeah. Yeah, you could.
but that, I mean, yeah, and you're right, that does seem fine with Crucible, unless your Crucible gets abrupticated. Alright, if this resolves, okay, so he's going to have to Ghost Quarter himself to Cryptic here.
Cryptic this, yeah.
And I mean, you can't let the Lily resolve. And again, like we said, Ghost Quartering yourself here with Crucible and
now
play is
we
fine.
have somebody from the next year, Leo Lives 1993 with the
Leo
follow.
Lives 1990. Who are all these millennials?
We are going through the 90s here. If anyone is watching with a count of 1994, please follow us, so we can get the whole decade.
Have a straight flush. All right, Cryptic Draw seems pretty good, but that will allow Mike to get in for some damage here. And now there's Planeswalker, instant, sorcery, land in the yard. So I think that thing's a 4/5.
Yes.
Man, my Goyf math is strong.
So Matthew can Verdict here. He opts not to. DL Rust also follow. Thanks you for the follow. Unfortunately, not 1994 name, but we appreciate it nonetheless.
Okay, Abrupt Decay on Crucible. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that seems
we think
good.
that's fine, right?
I think that's fine. I also think we should path Tarmogoyf. All right, Matthew agrees.
Man, how are we doing on time? Do we know?
I'm not sure. Apparently, our clock is not functioning today.
Luckily, our resident Norn Soul Sisters player, Michael Richella, is looking at the time for us, so we'll get back to you shortly with the game clock.
He came to watch in the booth. Oh, and here is a Raven's Crime from Belf. So we'll see.
There are only 10 minutes remaining, guys, so...
yeah, so Belf doesn't really have to win this game.
No, he doesn't. He just needs to Worm Harvest, Worm Harvest, Worm Harvest.
I would say that he is winning the game at this point, but...
it's tough to tell. I mean...
Well... Matthew's low on resources, and Belf doesn't. I mean, Belf just drew a Raven's Crime, so now any of his lands are gonna make Matthew even further. Ooh, we drew it. We drew the worms.
Oh baby. By the way, I missed the name of whoever followed. I think it was Roger something.
Roger IOPN.
Thank you, Roger, for your follow. That reminds me of a Blessed Alliance is not bad here. I think you gain the 4 life though, right?
He is going to gain
Okay,
4 life.
great. There we go.
And down goes hissing
Escalated.
Quagmire.
Let me tell you, folks, this is like North Korea right here. We're escalating. Just
Wow,
kidding.
that was
just kidding.
that was something. Oh, here's a win condition.
Okay. Okay.
The Architect of Thought.
Will that win the game and
10
then leave them
minutes?
enough time? Well, maybe he can win the game, but he certainly can't. Nobody can win the match if he wins the game here.
Yeah, that's true. So we're going to mini factor fiction.
See, what I tell you, folks, you don't need Jace the Mind Sculptor when you have Jace Architect of Thought.
Evidently not.
Card's great. It actually is very. I mean, it is a very good card. It's a combo card in Modern with the aforementioned doubling season. It's a good mid-range card. Puts
And
a lot of aggro decks that stops them in their track, puts them in their place.
Why brainstorm for free when you can let your opponent brainstorm for you for minus loyalty?
That's right. Why brainstorm for free when you can give your opponent's creatures -1/0? Oh man, Jace Architect. When he was first printed, people said he was the worst Planeswalker ever printed, and I never agreed with that.
And then they saw Sam with the tested.
Yeah, then they saw Sam with it.
Although I guess Tybalt is quite a bit worse.
No, Tybalt's great. Have you ever played Tybalt in a?
I have never played Tybalt in anything ever.
Play him in a blue-red Desperate Ravings deck, and you will enjoy yourself.
I'll love to discard my Snapcaster once it's my only action. It'll be great.
All right. Well, there's always that.
So Matt tried to spreading seas the Ghost Quarter there, and in response, Belf Ghost Quartered one of his own lands.
Yeah. Well, he denies the
well,
draw card.
You
so
know what
that's
it
fine.
does is it fuels the Worm Harvest.
That's right. It does fuel the Worm Harvest. Except for now, Belf can't cast a Worm Harvest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Eventually you'll get there. So we're just gonna cash in Jace for another mini factor fiction. Huh. All right.
Okay. All right.
I wonder-
Serum Visions.
I wonder what Matt is digging for.
I like how it's like turn 15, and these players have like 3 lands in play.
I don't think it's like turn 7 maybe.
7, really?
Yeah.
It must be more than 7, right?
Well, each player has maybe had 7 turns. I mean.
Right. Okay. So collectively turn 14.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Scoos stays around for a turn. Matthew did not find a 1 mana or 2 mana answer. And we are getting in there. 4-2. Here's another Raven's Crime. This one
Raven's
being
Crime,
drawn.
brutal.
Just discard a land here. Yeah, there goes Hallowed Fountain.
As they say on the Disney Channel, that's so Raven.
I'm frothy. Thank you for the follow. And that joke was terrible.
Not quite as bad as the joke, I am frothy. I'm not even sure where. You know what? Never mind. Let's just not talk about that. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So, looks like a swamp off the top for Michael Belfatto here.
Puts him 1 land closer to the worms. And here's Loam.
That seems pretty good.
So this does a good job of fueling Raven's Crime.
So, it looks like Matthew does not have and has never had the Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
I like the card, but it's not great. I like it because it's cool. It's got pretty art. It's got a cool legendary creature on it. And it was a standard all-star. But maybe not great in Modern.
We're going to Logic Not Life from the Loam. Not sure. I like that.
Seems bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not terrible, but
Usually countering spells with Dredge is not good, but maybe there's something we're not seeing. I mean, if you have nothing else to do, you have nothing else to do.
Maybe he was worried about the Raven's Crime, just constantly making him discard with all those lands that Belf just drew.
Well, he's got a bunch of lands. I mean, Matthew's got plenty of discard fodder in hand.
Yeah, that's true. So we are going to Drudge Loam. We hit land. Well, that's pretty good. Gonna cast Loam. Get back Quagmire, Treetop, and Ghost Quarter.
Thank you, Izardle, for following.
A lot of follows tonight, guys. We appreciate it.
Well, looks like Izardle is actually if you mix it around, it's not a palindrome, but an anagram for E-Lizard.
Great.
E-Lizard, as we all know, is the competitor to Geico's. That's the E-Surance. I'm done. Sorry, I'm just. I don't know where I was going.
I have not a clue.
But yeah, thank you, iLizard, or E, was it?
Izardle.
Izardle. Thank you, Izardle, for the follow.
Mark is getting lost in his mind here.
Yeah, we're a little bored by this.
This has been a lengthy, grindy match.
And the thing is, we all know at this point that I mean, he can't lose the match, right? I mean,
You're right.
Yeah, and Matthew almost certainly can't win with his time. So Mike has sort of had this one locked up ever since he won the 35-minute game one.
Sure. It is also Eldrazi backwards. That makes a lot more sense. Thanks for pointing it out.
Well, as we all know, that's what Mark Rosewater intended when he invented Eldrazi. He was thinking to himself, you know what, I'm going to screw everybody, screw with their minds, because Eldrazi are actually lizard people.
Sure. Raven's Crime getting retraced twice here and tearing apart Matthew's hand. He's down to Detention Sphere or Supreme Verdict. He is going to hold on to Detention Sphere.
Much like the famous episode of Roseanne. If only anyone watched Roseanne. Though I did hear that show's getting a reboot, right?
I have no idea.
I think Roseanne's coming back.
We're going to Ghost Quarter, and Belf in response is Ghost Quarter and Colonnade.
It's a lot of Ghost Quarter.
But Belf is out of basics.
That's almost a ghost dollar.
So I doubt Matthew knows this, but he's actually stalling Belf from these worm harvests so much.
Yeah, he doesn't know that. You're right. The worms are getting anxious.
Unless, of course, he watched the stream last week. Jamie Mook.
Yeah, thank you
for the follow.
Jamook.
Jamook. Jaime Mook. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it could be like if there was an I in there, it could be Jaime, like the Spanish name for James.
I did not say ghost dollar. I said ghost quarter.
No, I said ghost dollar.
Why?
I made it because there were 3 ghost quarters. I said that's almost a ghost dollar.
Wow.
And then you didn't laugh, and you made me feel dumb.
All right, well, Tarmogoyf didn't resolve. That's good.
Yeah. But so Scavengers is, I mean, again, I don't think anyone wins this game.
Actually,
but
Matthew is kind of just getting in there with his Colonnade, and it's actually been working. Belf has not drawn a.
Well, but he can just Dredgeloam Ghost Quarter.
That's true.
I mean, if that ever becomes actually dangerous,
I mean, he's down to 5.
Yeah, but Belf won't let that happen, right?
I hope not. Here's Dredge.
Yeah, here's the Dredgeloam. We're gonna get the Ghost Quarter back, and there's
Thoughtseize.
Unless Matthew has the hindering light to protect his Colonnade.
He cannot currently cast that.
Well, he can't cast it while activating Colonnade. Yeah. Now he could Apostle's Blessing.
That's true.
To give it pro. Oh no, you can't even give something protection from Ghost Quarter.
No, you cannot.
You can't. You know what
need
has? You need a
Terra Eternal.
Or you need a Horizon Drake. Does anybody know the card Horizon Drake?
Is that a landfall creature from original Zendikar?
Well, not land. It's a Vendilion click, without the good ability, and instead it has protection from lands.
Great. Yes, Teferi's Response. That's a new card from the Commander set. Did you see that card? It's a 3-mana instant. It gives you protection from everything. It phases out all your permanents.
I did see that. I did see that. Yeah, I did.
That is a great card.
Yeah, no, that card looks. And what I didn't understand is it's white instead of blue.
Yeah, it's very odd.
It's weird. I mean, it makes sense with the effect, but it's Teferi, man. How is that card not blue?
Maybe that's foreshadowing for a blue-white Teferi coming back.
And thank you to our stream runner for getting a Horizon Drake up here. As we said, basically Vendilion click in Modern. You can't Ghost Quarter it. You can't block it with a Colonnade. You can't kill it with a Hissing Quagmire. You just card.
Oh, that is not Teferi's. Oh yeah. Teferi's Response. I'm sorry, you're right. That is not the. Not what I was thinking of. This is Teferi's Protection. Teferi's Response is a very old counter spell. I think that only counter. It's similar to Hindering Light, but it's 1 in a blue, and it.
Do you draw a card?
You do. I think you might draw 2 cards actually.
Bullshit. What? For 2 mana?
Yeah. Can we get Teferi? Yeah, here it is.
This card seems. Busted.
But it's only for lands. Okay. So
Teferi. Okay, it only targets a spell if it targets a land you control. Wow. Oh wow, that card's sweet though.
Oh, we got the worms.
Dude, I would totally play that in Legacy against Wasteland.
How has Belf not acquired worm tokens yet?
Yeah, I don't know. These servo tokens, they're just not doing it for me. You're the only player in the continental United States playing Magic competitively who plays Worm Harvest, and you don't have the worm tokens?
Nefariax. So, Coco Elves is actually positioned quite well in the SCG event. I think this weekend actually, Ross Miriam came in top 4 with a Coco Elves build.
Yeah, he had a strong showing against. I watched him play against Affinity. Did anybody watch that match? He beat Affinity pretty handily. It was actually interesting. Sometimes that matchup's just a straight race, but he had all the tools to take it down just with the race, and then Court of Calling for Kataki,
Yeah.
Reclamation Sage. Yeah, deck's really good.
I think he lost in the top 4 or the semifinals to Death Shadow, unfortunately. All right, the worms are gonna do Matthew in. So Belf does end up actually winning the game. It did not go to time. He's gonna win that game 2-0 after a long and grindy one, but the ever popular Worm Harvest gets there in the end.
Some people say hungry hippos. Belf says hungry worms.
Just if anyone's keeping track, that is at least 3 games to 0 where Belf has resolved a Worm Harvest and won.
Yeah, I mean
good.
we've watched Belf probably I guess at least 3 times, right, in the last month, and every time does he even have other win conditions? The Tarmogoyfs are just a ruse. All he really does is just devour people with worms.
Zamalal. So 2 weekends ago at an SCG IQ here in Mason. So if you look at the deck list posted for IQs, Belf won the IQ. So you can find his deck list on Star City's website. It was posted there because he won the IQ. So that's gonna do it for round 1. Before we go, though, quick reminder, you can subscribe to us now, as you can to subscribe to any Twitch channel. It's $5 a month. And special for this month, if you do choose to subscribe, you have a chance to win an entire Hour of Devastation booster box. So if you want a chance to enter that, it's only $5 per month, and you might win a full booster box. So please consider that.
Oh, and we've also got the Patreon always.
Yes.
If you'd like to get involved, supporting the stream, on a one-time basis or with a sustaining membership. Helps keep your favorite content coming out and supports our work. So
thanks, guys. We will quickly be back for round 2 since this game took so long. Stay tuned.